Hello everyone, my name is Garrett Oakamber, and I'm here to show you where the Necromancer Bones of Rathma set dungeon is. In Dalgur Oasis Act 2, you will find at the beginning of the flooded cave the set for Rathma, the set dungeon. Now, mind you, for those of you familiar with my series so far, this may contain a little bit of spoilers here because this was shot a lot after the progression and leveling up, so you've been warned. I don't complete this set dungeon. In fact, I get fed up and I just leave it because I don't really care about set dungeons. But I thought it was interesting that I'd found it just by roaming around. And the game does kind of push you in the direction to find set dungeons when you're wearing those pieces. The quest system, the bounty system, will nudge you and say, hey, you might want to go here for this, and you go there, and sure enough, there it is. It's all left up to choice, though, whether or not you want to be doing bounties on that particular day in question, and I happen to have been wanting to do bounties. What you're seeing is a pretty basic dungeon. It's based around cooldown gained and obviously not dying. But I think my build was too strong, and I wasn't able to actually get anywhere when it comes to completion. If anything, I'd have to nerf my build to be able to actually complete the Rathma set dungeon. I was a little bit perturbed about that, but whatever. I mean, the whole point of a set dungeon is it's a particular challenge that you have to do, and that's why they give you challenge rewards. This being a PTR, I didn't particularly care to complete that. It didn't seem like something that would benefit me in any way, shape, or form. But the build I'm using, for those of you wondering, is a Frost build, and I will be doing a video on that eventually that's more in detail as my series continues. For those of you who have watched the series and want to see how the Necromancer's fulfilling its role as the undead master, I have a particular build that I am formulating currently. I've still switched a few things here and there, and I'm using some things that I have to use because I don't have the substitutes that I need to make it really, really shine. Rhymeheart. But yeah, so the set dungeons are cool. I do like that they do reward you for them, otherwise there'd be no reason to do it. It's kind of like World of Warcraft's achievements for big dungeons and big raids. They give you mounts and pets and things like that. I remember the first time I got the Ironbound Proto-Drake joining a 25-man Ulduar raid, and I was so happy to have it, and I used that thing so much, and what I really wanted was the skeletal Dracolich from the Wrath of the Lich King, and I eventually got that, but I just, it was enjoyable. And this is where the footage kind of cuts. I'd cut it. This is not the set dungeon, but what you saw previously was the set dungeon. It was pretty basic. Not particularly too hard, but not particularly too easy either. It's kind of in between, and I think that's because the Rathma set is open to interpretation on how you use it. I mean, you do need skeletal mages, you do need command skeletons, and you do need the Army of the Dead. Everything else appears to be mutable, and that's exactly, what I'm doing here. I found a combination that really works. A first Frost build that's ever worked in Diablo 3. And then really thanks to some of the new items, and of course the Necromancer being so amazing, but that's not to mention that, potentially one of those items I think can be used by any class, so you have, unless they change the tooltip, but a wizard could come up, a witch doctor possibly, I don't know, but it seems that they had this in mind when they were developing this. So I guess the rest of this video I'll talk about what I've discovered tooling around with the character's abilities. For the Necromancer, there's a lot of give and take, a lot of risk and reward. And there's something very new to Diablo, because normally it was like, oh, this ability will do this for you and do that to the enemy or whatever, and it wasn't that awful. I mean, it was never awful, it was always positive. The Necromancer has a lot of negatives. Necromancer appears to excel at single target or status effects. Most of their abilities are stuns or freezes, and that's really cool. I like to see that. It's just, aside from like characters like the Wizard or the Barbarian or the Crusader, who have a lot of options when it comes to both crowd control, area effect damage, resistance, like the Wizard has shields up the butt. The Wizard can constantly shield themselves. They have the ability to turn into this all-powerful being and all that. The Necromancer does have a similar ability where it splits itself up in a mirror image and becomes empowered, but it takes health. And so there's like this balance between the two. Necromancer has an armor ability, kind of like the Crusader, and they can keep it up indefinitely. Unfortunately, I haven't found bone armor to be particularly useful. That's probably because I'm using the Rathma set, and I'm not using the set that you're supposed to use it, the Necromancer. You're supposed to benefit off of bone armor from that. So that really is why I'm not seeing a benefit of it, but it's just every ability the Necromancer has some sort of limitation, but it's a good limitation because it's intriguing and it's challenging, and I like that. I like that this character, first of all, it's optional to buy when it comes out. You do not have to play as the Necromancer. You may never even want the Necromancer, but when you buy it, you have to understand that it's going to be a character that is unlike any other. And I like that they've done that. When they came out with the Crusader, which came with Reaper of Souls, it was unlike any other character previously. It was a heavy resistance, heavy damage, healy, tanky sort of mix. It was all parts of the spectrum wrapped into one. But, the Crusader mostly had buffs and abilities that would bolster the team and things like that. A very supporty sort of character that could still do quite well alone. The Necromancer kind of fits a similar role, but it goes a little bit off the deep end a little bit more. It tries to be more unique than the Crusader ever could be. So I don't know if I'm making any sense. But this is older footage here. This is me using before I had the Frost build nailed down. I was using Revive and things like that. Most of this footage here will be making it into the series anyway, so you'll be seeing that. But yeah, it's a fun class. It's a fun class. I've never had so much fun playing it. I find myself almost at Paragon level 300 just because I'm loving it. I'm playing it to death. I've also, I should mention, with the Frost build, I've made it so that I don't lose any essence now, so in the future videos you will see me just sitting there at 100% essence with no issues. And there's a trick to that with the Frost build. It's beautiful. It's not an exploit, it's actually an item that does that for you. That's if you're killing things. So if you do run into some enemies that just won't die, maybe running away is your best choice, because if an enemy doesn't die, you don't get a corpse. And that's another part that really marks the Necromancer standing alone. You need a corpse to do anything. So, I mean, this video is not like the most informative thing. I'm hoping you enjoyed it. I'm hoping at least, now you know where the set dungeon is. If you want to try the set dungeon, go to Dalgur Oasis, go to the Flooded Cave and check it out. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.